So we'll sync again. Yeah, so sync in 3, 2, 1.
Sync.
Okay.
Oh, I'm
It's okay.
supposed to hold it. Well,
It's okay.
Sync.
That's fine.
It's okay. Hello,
Alright.
and welcome to the worst
Hello.
podcast on the face of the planet, the Black Mind Games podcast. Joining me this week is Josh.
I'm here.
Josh and I were very unfortunately informed this week that Allan is no longer with us. He died after 7 days of meditation with a pain glove on his hand. And I guess he wanted to go out the way that Rogel Dorn did.
The hell of a
It's
wank.
very unfortunate that happened. You know, we are very sad to hear that Allan will no longer be able to fortify his positions in life. But yeah, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Unfortunately, also, Josh has somehow misplaced the Necronomicon that we have for him, just for this purpose.
But wait, for me or for someone else?
Well, for reviving one of the hosts, right?
Oh, I don't think I misplaced it. I put it on the forbidden shelf that's in the forbidden basement.
Okay, so you know where it is. Okay, that's good. All right.
put it-
So
put
we
it
just have
back.
we need to get all of the materials in order to do that. Okay, got it.
Yeah, you need
Okay.
to have a battle party. You need to have need a healer. You need the mage. You need.
You need a tank.
It's gonna be one of those quests. It's gonna take 30 minutes.
It's gonna take 10 minutes for us to do it. Okay, we'll do it in 10
I don't
this
know.
time. I mean, the last
Yeah,
time
if they had 30
what
minutes,
happened
that'd be
was
so
like
lucky.
we had a party member and the two people who weren't hosts mysteriously died. So that was fun. Dysentery is very fun. So
Sounds
we
like a hell of a party.
instead of doing that, we brought in somebody who is a good friend of mine, Trish. Yeah, she is a college student. She is an essay like me. So, welcome to the show, Trish.
Thank you. Sorry I didn't come more prepared. I almost feel like I should have brought some kind of
Well,
Gift or something,
it's
eh?
I mean, you
all
could have brought
digital.
coffee, but I mean, we forgot to mention that. So
Well,
Yeah,
this
Jeff
is
forgot
what
to mention a
happened.
few
Is literally this week I was like, well, I can't ask this person. Oh, I can't ask this person due to drama. I'll ask Ben. I asked Ben, and I was like, okay. And then I asked Trish. I'm like, Trish, do you want to be on the show? And Trish goes, sure.
I mean, I had no problem with it.
I almost offered Thane that too. We should have Thane on the show. That would be great.
I mean, he's
Thane.
here. Hey, Thane.
Thane's Trish's boyfriend. He's a good guy.
He's whispering right now. Here, let me hold the mic to his face.
I
Okay.
admit to nothing.
So we got some good news. We got some bad news. We got vampire milfs, and
I'm
yeah,
intrigued.
technically, there's giant lady who may or may not have the T virus already.
mm-hmm.
And then there's 3 separate vampire chicks chasing you in the mansion constantly. And basically, like from what I understand, it's the whole aesthetic of the game is Resident Evil 7 Part 2, Part Boogaloo, Big Boo Boo Boo.
we're gonna.
Excellent. They know how to sell it, eh?
Like, here's the thing. Like, the first thing I saw about this game was, the quick snippets of that teaser trailer that they showed. And I was like, okay, it's more Resident Evil. And the more I was looking at it, I was like, this just looks like 7, but in another mansion again. I'm like, it's not bad, but I was expecting different, at least. Maybe more of like Resident Evil 2, how it's behind the shoulder and you still have that like survival, that survival gameplay like everyone's expecting. But I was like,
yeah, I would agree with that.
yeah, because I was like, 7's fine. You get the spook factor and whatever. But another thing that followed right afterwards was people freaking the fuck out over the giant lady. And I was like, well, I'm like, yeah, she's giant. I don't see what the problem is. But here's the thing. I just saw a short clip of it. And I was like, well, yeah, she's giant, whatever. And people were confused if she was actually giant or if she's not giant or whatever. And it turns out, like, no, she's really big. And she's big in all aspects. She's big and tall. She has big boobs. She has a big butt. And it's like people are just fawning over her to the point that I shared that stupid video in the chat. Where did I put it? General?
Yeah, I think you put it in topic list.
I also put it in topic list of the dude who's like, he's panning around in this room and he pans over to this shitty Photoshop of her standing there. And he goes, oh no. Oh no! He runs to the door, and as he's panned us, he's just like going, "Oh no!" And he just goes click, and lock the door. I'm like,
it's gonna be a long night.
I mean, to be fair, like if you saw somebody like that, and you saw a woman in your apartment or house, I've had an apartment. If I saw somebody like that, I would lock the door. I would be like, "What's the worst that's gonna happen?"
Asks you for the password.
What's the password to the keystone? Well, I'm the key maker, so I know this line.
And dead.
That's still the best part about. I mean, everything about this is going to be like great. Everything about this game looks good, and
I just can't wait until like everyone's fawning over her until the game releases, and then the day afterwards, someone completes the game and she turns into goo.
No, she turns into Satan.
Every boss turns into goo, like every bloody time. So it's like, she's gonna just be this giant monster thing that doesn't, let's say she did win in her plans. You turn into this goo monster. What do you think you can do afterwards? Like,
oh god, you do not want to ask the internet that question.
I mean, like realistically, it's like, yeah, you turn into this maybe unstoppable goo monster, but it's like, but now you're goo. You can't really do much when you're goo.
I mean, you can do a lot of things.
What kind of goo are we talking about? The melty type or the type that can reform itself into whatever it wants?
Once you turn goo, you can't go back.
You're like Ditto.
Yeah, Ditto could change forms.
Stuff.
But like if.
I mean, Ditto could be that lady.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like it though.
I mean, but here's the thing: is like Ditto is like it would be like Ditto but worse. Mm-hmm.
Oh, fair enough. Rotten Ditto.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Why is it?
It's going to be interesting. I just saw some news I'm very excited about, so I'm going to post it. And I'm going to look it up later in topic list. But yeah, no. Everything I've seen about this, I've actually watched the gameplay and stuff like that. I'd bang her. I'd bang the big girl. Josh would bang the big girl, I think.
Like, if she didn't murder me,
good luck.
Sure.
I mean, the murdering is just an extra part, Josh. I mean, let's be honest here. Like, if you go out just dead, and if you go out while having sex, I mean, that's a pretty metal way of going out, right?
I mean, you never know what kinks you have until you try it. Am I right?
And she just stabs you? Like, what the fuck? Well, actually, no. That's like the worst case. That's one of the worst case scenarios. But that's not the zero worst scenario ever. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I mean, it's not like being ejected out the airlock.
Are we talking metaphorically or?
We're talking. Well, we're doing a segue now into Crying Sons. Yeah.
Okay, nice segue. Top notch.
So Josh is probably. This is probably going to be the part where I talk about the game for the now 20 minutes. Crying Sons is very fucking good. I really like it.
I was gonna say you're talking about it, and it was free on the Epic Store for like that 1 week.
If you buy it on Epic Game Store, kiss my fucking ass.
Yep.
You are a
Sounds
piece of
about
shit
right.
if you buy it on Epic Game Store.
Don't look at me. I forgot my login for that
Good.
thing.
Crying Sons is everything I wanted in FTL, if a sequel to FTL, and I love it. It's so good.
I remember getting super stuck in FTL because I was like, man, I want this cool shit, but I can't seem to actively complete the game. I get to the hard boss part, and I just can't get past the hard boss part.
The Rebel boss is probably the worst thing on the planet, but it is doable if you know. So the way I beat the Rebel boss is I lit everything on fire.
Oh, yes, like a true champion.
I lit everything on fire. So everything was on fire. And then I just eliminated all of the weapon systems, and then it just became managing the weapon systems and just doing damage. So Crying Sons is like that, but it's not exactly like that. Instead of controlling a small strike craft, you're controlling basically a dreadnought with squads and chips that you have to control. And
Sounds
it
like a
is
good time.
the perfect game ever. It's just great. I love it. The combat is very fast paced. You can make it fast paced. You don't have to play it. Fast paced. You can do turn based. You can do basically whatever you kind of want. And one of the coolest things is basically you're going to be playing, as you're playing through Crying Sons, you get bite-sized little story snippets, and then you get major story snippets about like basically big things. And once you defeat the section, you basically have to restart all over again. So
Oh, okay. You have to play multiple times then to get the whole story?
So it's
Nice.
every single time you're kind of pursuing a new enemy, and every single time it's going to be interesting because you're basically just doing little things here and there. And
Okay.
so far I like it. It looks like there's 5 acts. I'm through act 1, but it looks fun. It's really fun. I enjoy it. I'll probably play more of it. Yeah.
Nice. Maybe you should stream some of it.
No.
I mean, yeah, that's your
I
choice.
can't stream now because I don't have good internet at my parents' place because I had to
Yeah, that'll do
leave
it.
my apartment for reasons. I blame other people for my faults, even though they're my faults. We'll blame Josh, actually. Josh,
Oh dear.
tell Noah it's all his fault I got fired.
Oh dear.
Stick that knife in him a little bit more.
Uh-oh. Sounds like,
Or don't.
just as a heads up, my dogs usually go out around this time,
That's
so
okay.
you may hear a commotion.
But yeah, I like Crying Sons. People should play Crying Sons. It's really good and interesting. And there's 2 things I don't like about the game. I don't like
What is it?
how the game does. So they have special officers in the game. And the special officers, basically, you get by completing certain objectives, quests, you have a chance to get a special officer. Okay? When that officer dies, the way that game does its reloading, that reloading service, the way that it handles all of the special officers is basically they're on a 5 run cooldown. So I've done 6 missions. I still don't have my special officer back.
Was that a glitch
No,
then,
you
or do they
actually
mean
have to do 5
something
individual
different?
runs,
No, you actually have to do 5
ending in failure in order to actually get your
that's
special
mean.
officer back. So
It's like if your bear got retired thing.
yeah,
For like 30 hours.
It's bullshit. I hate it. I hate it so much. It is.
I'm patting Thane in an attempt to reach you
It is
physically, but I
attempting
cannot.
to
So.
level
Sorry.
up the game in such a way where it benefits you in the long term. But it just comes off as like taking away the cool shit, and it makes the game actually worse in the short term. So yeah, that's my issue. But yeah, that's my complaint on Crying Stones. Josh, did you play any games this week? You have no other topic list. Actually, no, I shouldn't talk to you. I'm sorry.
Ouch.
Oh.
What did you do,
Actually,
man?
I did play one game.
Okay.
I only played a little bit of it because as soon as I started it, I just realized, oh fuck, it's going to be one of these games. The end is nigh.
I think
it's an
that
Ed
Steve McMillan?
Ed McMillan game. Yeah. Ed McMillan game. It has this art style all over it. And it's a tough as nails platformer. And frickin' oh boy. So I'll start with like, hey, it's a tough as nails platformer, just like Super Meat Boy, where you have precise control over everything. So whenever you die, it's more of like it's kind of your fault for dying, and it's more of like it's never a cheap thing that something happened in the game or whatever that caused your death. It's always like, okay, you just got to figure this out and you can get through it. But the more I went on, the more I'm like, fuck, this is all fair, but man, nowadays I'm like, I just don't play something this frustrating usually. So I'm like, so I play as much as I can, but then if it just does get to a point of like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to something else. But yeah.
Gonna go torture Sims on the Sims
I
now.
just bought the
kind of
Ed
thing, eh?
McMillan collection, so
It's pretty, like, I would say the whole collection's pretty good. The only gripe I have, like, some of his games is that because the way Ed McMillan is for his personality and the way he wants to make his games, they're usually kind of hard. And there's always there's a reason for that, and even especially with the end is nigh, it's this freaking nihilism is showing constantly. And this end is nigh is his nihilism to the fucking 10th degree and his depression. Like when you talk, so there's NPCs as you going through the levels that you talk to, and these NPCs are just talking about kind of like life in general and how it sucked ass and how like life before seemed to be fine. And they're like, or maybe in the life before seemed to be better, but they can't go back. And it's like a whole bunch of stuff about heaven and earth, if that exists.
Oh wow, it got existential quickly.
Ed McMillan
I think at least
is.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's like a few sentences from few few NPCs that you come across, and it's like, oh, you're really going hard on this one. And there was one dude in particular that actually I was like, oh, dude, I'm assuming there will be achievements in the game for doing the hardest shit possible. But the funny thing is that one of the characters you come across, he tells you, don't bother getting these hard ass shit around you because you will get nothing in return. I'm like,
oh wow,
true. That's totally true.
completionist
like,
challenge
you probably still get an
accepted.
achievement for it, but it's like, again, it's like his point of view is like, you get nothing out of this. And I'm like, this is kind of true.
Ouch. I've never had a game try to kick me while I'm just trying to play it as
But
fully as
like,
possible. Wow.
I know there's achievement for like getting everything, but it probably, like, if you do get some of this stuff, I'm betting that, like, I don't know, like, not maybe anything happens. Maybe you just get a dumb achievement and that's it. But it's like, man, just the game just to tell you don't bother. It's like, that's kind of great.
Yeah, you know, we don't really have games that are that
Ballsy.
truthful, do we?
Really
These days.
ballsy.
I
Yeah.
mean, we don't have a lot of like anything nowadays that sits there. Like, I really want to put a Gatson plague in one of my games.
Oh.
Gatson, don't
What
tread
part?
on me, Fleck. I want to put a stat
Oh,
in
okay.
there where it's like somehow where literally the line is your true political ideology is revealed to everyone who you meet. They all think that you're right wing and treat you like shit.
Well, awesome.
Just to watch like the people sit there and be like, oh it's clearly a right wing symbol. It's like literally just pointing that out, saying they'll all treat you like shit. Josh doesn't like this idea.
I'm just thinking of how angry people would get, and I'm just thinking perfect.
Here's my thing is like when you develop a game, I hear what you're saying about Ed McMillan, and he is, I don't want to say a loose cannon, but he is definitely somebody who you look at a lot of the stuff he's made and it's all been very unique, I will say. Like, there isn't going to be a game that even compares to Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
And it's just so good. There isn't going to be a game that compares to Super Meat Boy. It's just too good. But like what you're saying about him being depressed and him not being the best of the and nihilistic, it comes off as kind of true and earnest. But it's like he's putting his soul into those games.
Oh yeah.
So would you?
I would say like every time he makes his games, you can like a part of him is definitely in there like throughout the whole thing, and it's just this personality kind of showing up of like random areas, and like you can tell there's a kind of a story, overarching metaphor, I guess, and like it's like okay, so overarching metaphor for like say Binding of Isaac is like okay, it could be like I don't know, abuse or general religious themes and how religion can just manipulate people into doing bad things or misinterpreting it. And like that's probably general themes of Binding of Isaac. And then The End is Nigh is just like again like general themes of nihilism and fucking nothing goes right type of thing.
Oh jeez.
So yeah, it's if anything like a lot of his games are just really neat and interesting.
I'm glad though that you're enjoying it.
Yeah, although there's one game he made.
It sounds like it's a really good experience.
He hides it in his crawl space for a good reason, which I know he made in the Newgrounds days. The game was called Cunt.
Oh yeah, I think I played it.
Yeah. So basically,
I played it at Nate
Oh my god,
the
Jeff.
first time around.
So
You're
here's the
so
thing:
full.
it's an arcadey like you're a missile or kind of like a missile. So you're a penis shooting basically like loads at a vagina. But here's the kick: like the thing about it is that you're trying to conquer these vaginas in a way, and you're spinning around them in a stationary circle. So the thing is in the center of the screen, and you're trying to go spin around it and dodge projectiles and shoot at the vagina. And
It sounds very familiar in the Arkanoid thing.
and like over time, it does get harder and harder, and the screen eventually fills up with diseases. So you you get genital warts. You get you can get.
It's a great game. It's
there's
so
power-ups
great.
and everything. If anything, you could say it's a precursor to like sort of Binding of Isaac, how the power-ups work in that, but it's like it's so weird, and it's pretty hard too. Like I always remember getting to like level 3 and fucking dying constantly because I was like, I don't know how you get these stupid bugs off your junk.
Good question.
What every man is saying. I think it's crabs.
Like there's a metaphor, like there's crabs in it. There's like it's if any, that game is also kind of like, oh, sexual diseases are horrifying.
Oh yeah.
If you didn't believe it before,
I just
you
like
do
how,
now.
like he made that game, and then you watch Indie Game the movie, which is a great movie and better than the sequel in every right way. And you see him talk about that game, and that game comes up, and it was like, oh well, I guess that is going to be an interesting game to play. But it's crazy how like you watch that movie and you see Ed McMillan and you think that he's like, you watch The Day Of and Tommy has like the exact opposite reaction of him. Mm-hmm. And I loved it. It was the best. It's a really good movie. I think more people should play it, watch it. But
it's Indie Game the movie?
Indie Game the movie, and it's better than the sequel. The sequel follows Zoe Quinn, Rami, and some other guy. And
does it follow Jonathan Blow at all? One of those?
The first one follows the creator of Fez and Jonathan Blow.
Okay.
And
because
the creator of Fez is a massive fucking
he's a guy who doesn't quite understand. I would say he's probably both full of himself and doesn't understand the internet.
Take my politics and times it by 1,000.
Yeah. It's too bad because, like, I did like the Fez game. It had a whole bunch of cool things going for it. And I, at the time, playing it, I was like, fuck, yeah, this game's super rad. And it has all these hidden secrets everywhere. And you have to do a whole bunch of, like, oh, you hear this musical tone in the background. Oh, it turns out that's Morse code. You decode it. And it's another secret for the game. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. And fucking, he just went off the deep end, like, right after he made the first game. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Well, what happened is that he did the worst thing ever. And this is my thing that always pisses me off about people is independent reviewer, let's say, not affiliated with any organization, sits there and goes, well, that's nice that you sat there and said these things about PC gaming and all of these things. They're false. False, by the way. It's very easy to do this. You just don't want to do it. Just say you don't want to do it. And he started acting like he's a victim. And one of the things that pisses me off so much about people is like, and this is something that, retrospect, really is one of my faults, is I sit there and I try to hold everyone to the same standard of, if you're going to sit there and act like a victim, I don't want to fucking talk to you. If you're going to sit there and say something that I feel is untrue, I don't need to talk to you at all. And if you're going to sit there and act like an asshole, nobody's going to need to talk to you. But he wanted to be a victim, and he got his wish, so he acted like a victim. And it went about as well as you would expect. It ended up with him... This is before Gamergate. It ended up with him canceling Fez, much to everyone's dismay. And that guy has been labeled as a massive asshole, but he's still very prevalent in the community. And I think that a lot of people kind of forget that, like, you know, a lot of people are human at the end of the day. But, like, if you don't agree with somebody, you're like, it's a conversation that you can have. And it's not going to end the worst way ever.
Yeah. Well, so long as you don't go nuclear about it, but that's a whole different issue.
Josh, what's your opinion on that entire situation? Did I get it right or wrong?
Sorry, which one?
The Fez situation.
No, I think you got it right. I can't remember the majority of it. All I know is he went off the deep end, and it's just, again, a fucking personality of he's full himself type of thing. So I would assume that's correct, but again, I'm not familiar.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
The other thing I will say about him particularly is that he was also one of those people that you could look at and you could say, like, in Indie Game the movie, they never mention his partner. I think his partner probably had a very good reason for leaving Fez. I would not be surprised if that reason was something to do with a personality quirk.
Probably.
Yeah. Anyways.
Sorry for not chiming in too much. I didn't really follow that
it's all
situation
bullshit.
too much because I haven't heard about it till now, actually.
But we can talk about some games that you were playing, some topics that you want to talk about, because you've been playing FFF14, Games Remastered, and other fun stuff.
Yep. I think while you guys were talking, I got an idea of what I wanted to chat about. Hopefully it's okay to do a slight plug for somebody else's game, but
on my show,
dare you?
I'm so
Go for
is that
ready
okay?
for it.
Quick, interrupt him now.
I will
Interrupt him now.
I will grab a link for you. So recently I've been playing a game called Omori, and this game had been, let's see, under development hell for about 6 years as of 2020, I believe. Here you go. Basically, the initial premise of the game was just, hey, you've been in this white room for as long as you can remember. You don't have any other memories of this place. And then it was just, if you watch the trailer, it went insano. It's like somebody had like a drop of acid or some bullshit, and then they just went off the rails and made a game based off of that. But actually playing the game itself, it seems you play as the titular Omori, who, as it says, he's stuck in the white space, but at one point a door shows up, and once you go there, it is a completely different world. It's so much colors, it's oddly childish, but there's a really weird underlying like sense of darkness to this world. So, for instance, in the first half hour of the game, everyone's like, let's go play hide and seek. Sounds like a childish thing that's nice and easy. And then you get to your BFF, Basil, who has suddenly gone missing. You realize he's been kidnapped. So you beat up his kidnapper, basically. And after that point, you guys go with Basil to his house, because he's like a photographer and he likes flowers and shit. He's like, hey, let's put this together in an album. And right as you get to the house, he drops his book full of pictures. You help him pick everything up. And then you pick up one photo that he takes one look at, goes pale, and then something fucking eats him. Like, you get thrown out of that dream realm, back into the white space. And from there, things start getting so much darker. It is such a strange, but, like, surreally good game. Although it has a really big, like, RPG Maker feel to it, you know? Because that's what it used to be made of. They had some development issues. They updated it from there. But so far, I'm 30 hours into the game. Still not on one of the endings yet, actually. And it's really rewarding so far. Yeah. Like, it's such an intense, like, oh, this is so much fun. Oh, shit, we killed this guy.
Oh, shit, somebody died.
We killed this guy.
Kind of game, you know what I
Over the
mean?
cliff. Let's pretend it never happened.
Pretty much. There's literally a point where you're infiltrating a castle looking for Basil, because the whole game is basically, where's Basil? Let's find him. He went missing after that. You're infiltrating a castle, and at every stop, you're stopped by these weird little sprout knights that are like, you're not a sprout like us, because you're wearing masks the whole time, as a disguise. And so you fight each of them, you kill them, then you keep going on your way, and then you come to another one, and he's like, yeah, that Sir Maximus or whatever, he was my dad. I will honor his death. You kill him, and he's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, Dad. You come to a third one, and you're like,
People are
God.
dying left, right,
I just
and
killed a whole
center.
family line. I just killed a whole line of shrubs.
They're so innocent. They're so innocent.
It's so weird, though, because these characters act like children, but if you don't mind spoilers for the game, There is a portion.
I'm assuming that the spoiler is that it's all a death game.
If you don't actually mind spoilers, it's that after the white space where you have to look like white space is a static place where all you can do is run, you can talk, you can go on your computer, you can check your tissue box, shit like that. But you cannot leave that area until after you've had the first dream sequence where you then get a knife. Do you want to guess how you get out of white space?
Cut it open.
You cut yourself open. He literally just stabs himself in the stomach and you wake up and then it's actually real life. He's actually a kid named Sonny who looks fucking depressed. So when you're in the real world segments, he seems to be plagued by all kinds of fears. For example, the very first one was his fear of stairs. If you try to go near it or down the stairs, it goes on forever, man. And then something attacks you. It's just called a something. But to this kid, he's so scared that nothing he does works, and he cannot run from it. But then I think he kind of psychs himself up. He's like, hey, remember to breathe, and you learn a skill from that. And then after that fight, I guess it was okay with you breathing or whatever. You look back, and it's like, that stairs was so not that short. I think the game is basically about overcoming your fears and not letting it control you. But it's in a weird way because most of the game, if you choose not to go outside, is spent in your dream realm, and it like goes on forever, man. I swear to God. But if you don't mind, I can talk about what more I know of the game, but have yet to experience.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm probably not gonna play it.
To put the end game spoilers, I guess, it turns out the whole storyline, depending on the ending you pick, the reason you're searching for Basil is because you are repressing memories of the fact that the character Omori, Sonny, has murdered his sister by mistake. What happens is that they had an argument, and apparently Sonny was bad at handling his aggression. And, like, when he's stressed, he gets aggressive, right? Pushes her down the stairs. I guess her neck snapped or something. And it turns out Basil had been present when his sister, died. So he was like, why don't we hang her and make it look like it was a suicide? So these two little, 10-year-olds or whatever do that. They look back, they see an eye glaring at them, and that becomes the basis of the somethings. But in the dream realm, Omori is basically dreaming up his friends, thinking, okay, we're going to have a lot of fun together. I don't have contact with these friends in the real world, and my sister is dead, because you see her a lot in the dream. Depending on the ending you get, you're either hunting Basil to find out that truth or to silence that truth.
Huh.
It is so intense. This is a game that draws you in with a childlike charm. It reminds me a little bit of Undertale, right? But then you get to these dark parts and you're just like, oh shit, this is more like Yume Nikki, isn't it?
Makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen videos of that Nikki game. Or sorry, how do you pronounce that? Yeah, I know I've seen a review or whatnot of some more serious dark storytelling type of RPG Maker stuff. And yeah, it's that one, and what was the other one that was super weird? No, it was really early 2000s. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it.
Let's see if I can find it.
Early 2000s, I remember that you have an ability that does random stuff. And then, one of the random stuff is you and the monster had a dance contest. You both danced. You both feel dejected and embarrassed. You both stop. It's okay.
Oh my God.
That happened. Okay. And it was all about this kid in pajamas, I think. And yeah, I think it's kid in pajamas, and it's in this weird surreal world, and a lot of it is just again kind of surreal. I want to say surreal depression or something like that, of going through this whole thing, and it feels like Earthbound, but it's way crazier.
I've uploaded a link here if any of those games sound familiar.
Space Funeral.
Apparently Omori shows it. That game,
there we
sir. Oh man, that one is
go.
even more surreal.
I'm like,
God, I love the battle theme. There's that, and I think it was called Off.
off. Yeah. Is that the baseball? The guy, like the main character, it's a baseball character?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have the weird cat and people that speak like fucking
Oh,
Victorians
yeah.
or something. God, there's so many surreal games like that, and I know they're all like edgy and shit like that, but there's something to it that's so interesting. Like it draws you in, and you're just like, this is such a weird game, but I kind of want to see where this
I want
goes.
to kind of chalk up those weird surreal games to what's it called? Artists that don't know how to do art, but they still do it anyways. The outsider art. That's what it is.
Outsider art. That's what it is.
Yeah,
That
so
sounds perfect.
the concept of outsider
Yeah, so-
artwork and outsider, art in general is that these people have an inspiring aspiration to make something, but that thing that they're making have absolutely no talent in whatsoever, but they do it anyways. So there's various examples through, if you look for, outsider art stuff, there's various examples of like, oh, this guy wanted to do this dance stuff, but he didn't know how to fucking dance at all, and he has no rhythm, but he did it anyways. And you look at what he does and you go, this is still art, but it's fucking terrible, but it's interesting. And you're like, I don't know how I feel about this. And it's like this new avenue of artwork that you've never seen or heard of. And there's another one I also say it's outsider artwork, is this fucking terrible album. God damn it, I have to look up the name again. But the album artwork has a head of a trout and a hat of a what was it? The Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving hat with the belt buckle on it. But like, yeah. So this whole album is terrible. But the thing about this whole album is it's technically impressive. The whole thing. Yeah, so it's all like all the complicated, all the complicated rhythms this dude has going on, all the complicated shit he's trying to do, just this complicated bullshit everywhere. And you can tell this guy has no talent, but he goes for it anyways, and it's like ends up being this new thing. So it's like, yeah, outsider artwork
It's like-
and outsider
outsider
stuff in general,
artwork.
you should try to look up, because it's like, it can help inspire you to do something better. Because if these dumb fucks can do whatever they want, you can do whatever you want to.
Whatever they want, you can do whatever you want to.
I mean, I guess it's motivating if these guys can get shit out. Why can't we?
It's like, oh man, there's such good examples of outsider stuff, and you're like, fuck, these are weird, but like they're also art, but it's bad, but it's art. So it's like it's weird catch-22.
It's weird catch-22.
That sounds so
Just look
awesome.
up.
It's like if you have all the skill but none of the musical intuition
exactly.
to
Like
it.
there's lots of examples. I know there's lots of like these one-off examples I know of, because like someone does a YouTube video on it, or someone does like, or I found like an article about it, about like from, I don't know, I think sometimes what was it? I can't remember. I want to say Konami, but it's not Konami. It's Koji. Nope. Fuck. The stupid gaming website that's not there anymore. Because of the K.
Hey,
I'm trying to think of it. I don't know. Oh,
Kotaku.
Congregate.
Here we go.
Maybe?
Kotaku.
Actually,
Kotaku,
that
there
might
you
be
go.
still around, but
I'm hoping
whatever.
Congregate's still there.
Or I was thinking of Joystick. But like, yeah, like I just usually just remember these one-off things because I'm like, man, these things are just that weird. Yeah, that
Just fat
weird,
and weird.
that
Oh.
interesting, and it just sticks in your head because it's like it's just so
Yeah.
fucking weird. Yeah.
It's so out
So it's
there.
like, you definitely try out the interesting stuff because you never know what you're gonna see.
Oh, yeah.
You never know what you're going to see.
Definitely. The fact that this game, like, all the trailer had was literally, like, a song by Bowen and the animation just going nuts and basically no game at that point in time. I was just like, yeah, I'm into this. Like, there's something about that earnestness, you know? Where it's like, okay, I haven't started it yet. I kind of need backers, but if you back me, I promise I will put all my effort. And she did, for the record. Omo Cat, I think her name was, did a really good job with this game, man. But man, you have to be in the mood to play it.
Although it's funny when you're explaining the story and like the ending, I was in my head. I was like, oh, I wonder how the ending's gonna go. And you explained it, and I'm like, oh, like every other like Japanese, like, oh, something horrible happened because stairs. Like every Japanese thing is always evolving. It's not your fault, but it is because stairs. like every time.
Apparently, that guy also had a fear of, what was it, drowning, spiders, fog. What else is your fear of?
Cars. Yeah.
Actually, probably. For some reason, you fight the planet Pluto a lot too. It's kind of weird. There's multiple endings to this game, actually, if you were curious. What I described was, I think, part of the bad ending, because you can either choose to talk to Basil and save him in the real world, or you don't say shit and he kills himself because he's like, oh no, I can't lose Sonny's friendship. I guess it's a weird thing. And then there's either the ending where you save him and you tell your friends, you know, that you killed the sister that everyone so fucking loved. Or you just don't say anything, you become a hikikomori, as they call it, and jump out a hospital window. So it's definitely a story about, like, I don't even know if you describe it as coming of age. It's more like you have to deal with the consequences of what you've done. And you have to learn how to live with it. Because in a portion of the game, Sonny has to fight Omori, and Omori will never die to him. So Sonny is the one that gets killed, but depending on what you decide to do, either Omori takes over, or they learn to accept each other and Omori just goes away. Like, he becomes absorbed, right? Such an interesting story, but so freaking edgy. It's like, it's weird because a lot of the game treats you like you're a little kid because, you know, it's a dream of a little kid, I guess. Aged up by a little. But the themes are so adult, it's just such a weird mishmash. Oh, you haven't said much, Jeff. What is your opinion?
He might be... Oh.
I'm here. No, I'm here. No, sorry. You guys were having a conversation, so I was just trying to stay quiet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You guys talking about something? We're ready for a new topic, I'm guessing?
I was going to say, is there an interesting surreal game that, or anything that you can talk about? No?
I played Doom 64. That's about it.
I'm sure you've played more surreal games. You've been a child on Newgrounds.
The most surreal game I've probably played has been Undertale and Portal.
Yeah, that'll count.
And Katana Zero.
I can't wait for Katana Zero 2
Yeah,
Boogaloo.
Can't wait for.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be good. Did they announce that one?
I have no idea. Because the ending of the game leaves you on a cliffhanger.
The one
like,
the one that fucked me up the most was probably Super Hot.
Oh, yeah. That's
Super
surreal.
Hot?
Oh yeah.
You ever never played Super Hot?
Yeah.
No, is that VR one
No,
where you're
bullets?
dodging
It's
bullets
time
or something?
moves
Or?
when you
It
move.
is?
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
So I would say you can actually play the non-VR version of it, and it's still pretty fun. And basically, yeah, like the whole concept of the game is time moves at a very slow pace, like 10% of normal speed, or maybe even slower than that, like 5%. So things are still moving, but incredibly slow. And until you start hitting the W button or you start looking around, time actually starts speeding up a bit. Mm-hmm. So you can stop and then the game will go super slow, but as soon as you start moving or doing or looking around, the game will start speeding up a little bit. And the whole concept of the game is just like, yeah, you can grab these weapons out of the scenery, grab these objects, and you're trying to kill people in the scenery trying to kill you. So you grab random stuff like this handgun, you shoot the handgun, and as you're doing these actions, time's speeding up and then slowing down, speeding up and slowing down. So when you do all of these actions, the game will replay everything in real time and you just look like a huge badass. Like huge badass.
Sounds like a good way to get motion sick.
Yeah.
I was just
VR.
thinking that.
So you can even download the videos from the game because it has its own feature to download videos, and you can
Kill
be
that.
like, yeah, and you can start, and if you get real good at the game, you can kind of do little tricks here and there and make it look even cooler. And it's just it's real good.
It's action hero the game.
Yep, exactly.
Action hero, the game, beautiful. What about that screwed you up, Jeff? The slowing and speeding
no,
up?
that game gets really fucky close to the end.
Oh
It's
yeah,
really-
like
You know,
the
we
game,
have a
it
recommendation
does
to
that
play
kind
then.
of like surreally like what's realism. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Ooh.
and it does.
Van Gogh
It's,
style?
it does play around with the VR thing of like I think if you do get the VR version of the game, and I think in an actual version of like the PC version of it, you put I think when you start you put on a helmet, and then you put on a helmet and
Yeah.
you start playing this game, and then people and you go through what looks like a DOS prompt, or not DOS prompt, but like BBS board type of thing, and yeah, and it's funny because it's kind of like you start this out as like this like, oh, I heard about this new game from a dude who's a hacker, and the guy's like, yeah, this new game is super secret, like I haven't heard about it anywhere, and I just cracked it, and it's super cool, it seems super cool, you should try it out. So you try it out, and it's a cool game, and then as towards get to the end, you start realizing, oh no,
Oh
things are
no, it's
bad.
a government program that is you're actually killing people, and it's like it gets weirder and weirder.
Yeah, it gets weirder and weirder, and then finally you
God.
have to kill your own self.
Yeah,
Like,
you kill yourself
Oh,
to
no.
join the program.
yep.
And
Oh.
if you collect all of the
Well, that
collectibles,
is
you
fucked.
get to go into you get a final scene where it's a CEO telling his board members to give people more levels of super hot, and they're just sitting there chanting super hot.
Oh, dear. That's some
Yeah.
propaganda
Well,
feel if
actually,
I've ever felt
at
it.
the end of the game, they even what was it? There's like a coupon or something the game gives you, and it tells you to tell your friends to go play Super Hot, and it also gives you a quote: "Hey, you should go play Super Hot. It's one of the best games of the year." If you can tweet this, you can Facebook it, you can do all this stuff, and it's an actual coupon that will actually work to go get people to play fucking this game, and it also feeds into the story of like
Awesome.
trying to get more people to play the fucking game or to like this mind control them. And it's like it's so neat.
Oh yeah,
It's like it's so
That's
neat.
beautifully meta.
yeah. So back to Doom. I played Doom 64. That first level is
All right.
bad. That game is.
Oh dear.
I like it. It's not the Doom I like. I love Doom Eternal. I like Doom
Which one do you like?
2016. I think Doom Eternal is my favorite game of all time. I'm probably going to play Ultra Kill. I'm
Ooh,
probably going to
nice.
love that. But Doom 64 is walking around an environment and not knowing where to go.
Oh,
It
good. I love
is
those.
fine if you enjoy playing those games. I think it could be better. That's just my opinion.
I mean, those
Josh is
old
probably
games.
going to disagree with me.
I was gonna say the old games do fall in that hole of like we need to make sure the player plays us as long as possible, so time equals feel like you got your money spent. So therefore, let's put these keys in the most obtuse possible placements that we can possibly put them in.
Yeah.
Like it, yeah.
Bet you're feeling glad that wasn't an arcade
Well,
game, huh?
It's a funny.
Oof.
It's not necessarily arcade games are more straightforward. They're more like just want your quarters type of thing. And home installment games, and even Doom especially, it just gets like, oh, you want all the secrets? Hug every bloody door, hug every bloody wall, hug every fucking thing you can see, and see if it does anything. And yeah, like especially early '90s games, like they're just throughout the whole thing. You can tell, like, oh, they're just padding for time constantly. It's not great.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Oof.
Let me
It's-
put it like
it's
this.
just-
In Doom... Go
No,
ahead,
you,
Josh.
you go. You go.
Okay. In Doom Eternal, the most time you spend walking around is there are times in that game where you're walking around. There are times where you're doing backtracking. In the first level of Doom Eternal, that rarely happens unless you're doing secrets.
Okay.
In Doom 2016, there are times where you're walking around. There are times where there's no combat. But that's not the part that people talk about in Doom games.
No, I don't. I doubt that. It's all rip and tear, yeah?
The thing in this game is literally I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out where the fuck to go in Doom 64. I could not figure it out. It is...
Wow.
It is difficult. I wish there was a map. And if it had a map, I think it would be a lot better.
There's no map in Doom 64?
Yeah, that would help.
I don't know where it is.
I don't know where it is.
Watch it be just like the combination
Or it's
key or
just a C
something.
button or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll probably be the map
Plainly
button.
the C button, Jeff. I don't know how you didn't hit the C button.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a game that I really enjoyed the first level. I think that it could be better. I am probably going to play more of it, and I'll probably come back and bitch about it more. Yeah.
Sounds like a good time.
But this is actually like the reason why I'm playing it is because apparently Doom 64 is the canonical origins of Doom Guy.
Huh.
Ooh, sounds like a... Oh, is that to do with his bunny too, then?
That already happened. Doom 64. Hold on, let me look it up. Doom 2016. Doom 64 was released. The game is new graphics modified on Doom. Was made with Ed Soft. Welcome to Doom 64. Following the defeating the Mother Vault, our hero spent time tearing up Hell. The Mother of Sister's resurrection kicks at the Marine out of base and tries to kill him. He fights his way through the base to find a portal back to Hell. He fights his way to a new section to take revenge on the sister. So it doesn't say anything about it being actually kind of like origin-y, but I believe it is canonical. I don't know exactly where it is. Speaking of Doom, there is a new Doom game.
I'm sure
it's called Doom Mayhem, and it is developed by Bethesda Game Studios. It is a top-down game, and I haven't played it, and it looks really cute and fun.
Cute. That's a weird one for a Doom game.
It is just the toys. It is just the toys.
What? Oh, okay. So it's like what was it, Skylanders?
Yeah, it's called
I guess?
It's like Skylanders, but Doom Eternal, you can collect toys. You can collect action figures of all of the Doom characters.
Huh. That sounds pretty cool.
So Doom
actually.
Mayhem basically has, or excuse me, I called it Doom Mayhem. It's called Mighty Doom.
Mighty
Oh, okay.
Doom.
So it is that picture you posted.
So it is Doom for kids.
For kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. I didn't think you could childify
This game-
hell. Apparently they managed it.
This game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it right now. It's a game that I kind of want to play because it's like it just looks stupid and dumb. And like everything that Doom Eternal does is just better. And the fact that it is kind of leaning into this, like I would buy the entire range of all of these characters or all of these demons if I could, because yeah.
I mean,
It's your favorite
Yeah.
game
Well, it's
series,
one
of
of them.
course.
I was gonna say for Doom art in general, I think it's pretty good. So just having these, adorable quote unquote hell figures I wouldn't mind having.
Yeah. Well, the best part about this is like.
I mean, I can't blame you.
Oh, let me type it up. The best part is like you say like this is my favorite game series. I would say Doom 2016 made me love Doom. I would say that I like Mass Effect 2 and Halo. Doom is probably my favorite game that I don't know anything of. I own nothing that says Doom on it.
Better fix that.
They don't really merchandise Doom that often.
Let's look at Doom Store.
I mean, I'm surprised you don't even have like a mouse pad with a picture or the logo or anything.
My mouse pad is a Steel Series stiff mouse pad that goes across 2 different desks because there's a gap in the middle where I put my mouse. A little bit. But I need 2 desks because it's like a lot of stuff I have to put on there.
I am probably going to buy this Icon of Sin.
I kind of want a Keiko Demon. Kako Demon.
But this guy's like 85 things, and it's like perfect for like Beast. I'll buy 2, and I'll put 1 in Beast. And then I'll also get the helmet. You can get a helmet.
I'd love to see you wear that.
I really want to do this. So, Josh, I want to do this series where it's me making fun of people.
Is that not what you already do?
No, it's me doing a Don Cherry impression over and over again.
Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
It is just me sitting there in a suit, just being like... with Josh sitting there next to me, just being like awkward, and then it's just me going. Now, Jim Sterling, let me tell Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling's a good guy. I love him. He's a great guy, but his impressions are completely wrong.
And of
All
course,
he
I'll
does
do
is
my
sit
best.
there and bitch about games that come out on Steam while he sits there and actively looks at these games on Steam. It's a shame to see. He should put more effort into actually looking at good material instead of just constantly complaining.
Well, I think your opinion is your opinion, and I just say that, hey, he's a guy on the internet
you
just
can
talking
watch it
about
right
shit.
here. You see his face, the way that he acts. He's just drained of all life. I gotta be honest with you. Do we have more time, by the way?
That's perfect.
Just cuts
Just wait
off.
until Randy Pitchford gets a. He'll be sitting there bitching like no tomorrow. Just sitting there being like, I can't believe this guy. He sat there and called me a cunt. And it's like Randy Pitchford sits there and spends more time on Twitter. Look at this tweet. Like you gotta sit there and be shameful of this guy. Anyone with any self-respect, any coach, producer should take away that man's throne and break it. Just watch the chaos unfold.
Sounds like your thing, yeah.
It would be great for exactly 10 minutes until I get fired.
Yep. Again.
And you're fired.
Just get a phone call from Chris. We can't have you at the company anymore for reasons.
And you're fired.
You probably know the reasons, but yeah, I'm just gonna let you sit with that one.
You know the reasons. Do we have any other topics? Bernie Sanders. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I'm kind of done, but I'm not sure what else there is.
Bernie Sanders meme. There's a meme involving Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yes, him sitting in the chair.
The actual person who should be president of the United States for the past...
How many
He should
years?
be going into his second term. Yeah.
I'd like to see the universe where he is president.
Well, you can thank Hillary Clinton for that,
That would've
Josh,
been nice.
because Hillary Clinton is the reason why Donald Trump was president for 4.
Yeah, but I mean, again, I want to see the universe where Bernie Sanders is president and see how much of a better America it is.
Oh my God,
I
you would
wonder
get...
if he would have survived a pandemic.
God, you would get.
Shit. Could you imagine? Would we still have the pandemic in that universe.
Yeah, but
That
you
would've
know
been
what the
interesting.
problem
Yeah.
is that the Americans would actually have universal health care, and that would be fine. It's funny because I have to explain this to people when they say, well, why do you support universal health care? And it's like, because I'm Canadian. I see the benefits. It's the only reason I want to pay taxes.
It's the reason of in the back of my head I don't have to keep fretting about like if I get into an accident I know I'm gonna be fine majority of the time.
Here's the thing.
The amount of stories I've read about Americans getting fucked over because they broke an arm and they're like, but I can't go to the hospital. It'll cost $2,000 just to get looked at.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that like you can have small government and universal health care. It's really easy. It's really easy.
What was it, Sweden?
Sweden gives you an
Nova
allowance.
Scotia? What was that one place we were
Sweden
talking
gives
about?
you an allowance.
New Zealand.
New Zealand,
Sweden
that's
gives
what
you
it was.
an
New Zealand apparently does it really well.
Sweden gives you an allowance when you have socialism. Sweden's taxes are like 40%. Oh yeah.
Holy shit, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, Josh. I remember Josh sitting there comparing us to Sweden. He's like, "Oh well, you know, Sweden's so great. Sweden's so awesome. They give you mandatory vacations. Did you know that?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, that's great." And then it's like, I'm sitting there trying to put a point. It's like everyone's like, "Oh, Jeff's so terrible." So I moved Josh out of the chat. I'm like, Josh, you know that they charge you like 40% taxes, right?
That's a necessary evil, really.
Here's the thing: it's like, if the benefit's there, I'm fine with it. I don't think that I'm not okay with 40% tax increase. Me personally. I know you are, Josh, and like you, it would benefit greatly. But like, I'm personally not okay with it. It's one of the reasons why, like, if the NDP sat there and actually said we're going to raise taxes, I would be okay with voting for them, but they never do. So, did you talk about getting a job during COVID?
No,
Well, you have two people who
it's not going well.
you have two people who literally got jobs during COVID.
I'm looking.
Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Josh is like, I don't care anymore. I'm emotionally dead inside.
No, I'm not emotionally dead. I'm just like, I got other shit to do.
I'm gonna
I
go
feel
play
that.
games with cool
Sorry, bro.
people now.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
They're not cool, that's for sure, on
No,
my
they're-
end.
No.
They're whiny little shits. Except for Thane, he's awesome.
I think that they're cool. I just don't understand why one of them's upset me. So, anyways, changing topic. Thank you everyone for listening to Black Lion Games podcast, episode 283. Thank you, Trish, for showing up and being a guest during
No
this
problem. Thanks for listening to me yap, I
tumultuous
suppose.
episode where we lost Allan to a magic pain glove. I mean, yeah. Thank you, Josh, for being on the show with me. You're gonna find the Necronomicon after this, right?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, bud. You okay doing the quest by yourself?
I'll solo it.
Thank you. I gotta go look at it like a car tomorrow, so I appreciate it.
Oh, good luck.
Oh, just look at this fantasy thing, and they're like, "Could you just go get that thing for me? That'd be real great. I think I'll look at a car." And me, just like in full armor, I'm like, "I'll fucking solo this shit again."
What? You've done it like twice by yourself. Once when I was dead. Physically.
I'm-
physically dead.
Uh-huh.
And then
Whatever.
Allan refused to do it because Allan was like, I'm too pure of heart. Fuck you.
It's too pure, sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, his sister says that, and then he's like, I'm Blade Necropara.
Oh,
Yeah. And then the other one when both me and Allan were dead. I still don't understand why you revived me first. But that's just me. Anyways, thank you everyone for listening to the Black Mind Games podcast. Hope you can listen to us every Thursday on blackmindgames.podbean.com. You guys subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting app of choice. And have a wonderful night. Bye.
Bye.
Yes. How dare you? To be fair, I basically sat there and was like, yeah, do this. So, Josh, I guess that we get a shit post for like 2 minutes.
Uh-huh.
How's your week been, Josh? We haven't talked for like a week.
It's been okay. It just kind of sucks because every time I go to work, I come back from work and I'm like, fuck, it's like 10 o'clock and I'm kind of tired. And I'm like, I'm pushing big heavy cages and moving boxes around constantly. So
I find it hilarious because every single time I hop on,
yeah, I know.
So,
it's just been
just so
binding
you-
of Isaac all the freaking time because I'm like, this is all the energy that I have for.
well, no, it's not even that. It's like I hop on and I'm like expecting to see you and Anthony and Noah playing a game, and I just see Anthony and Noah, and I'm just like, all right, Josh is working late.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. I don't know. It's been really funny this week. Like I've been playing games with Ben lately. Here's somebody else who should have been showing up. I guess he fucking exercised his team option. I gave him an option this week. I said, we got another host, so you don't have to show up. Yeah, you're loaded up? Okay, cool. It's okay. And I was talking to Ben about bullshit, and it was like really weird because I
I've
could
got
actually
Audacity
work on the
recording
game.
now, eh?
Yeah, you're loaded
And
up.
that turned...
Yep, sorry about that.
Yeah, I was working on my game. I was working on mine and Josh's game. And it was hilarious because I'm sitting there listening to Ben kill orcs, and I'm just like, this just seems so much nicer.
Oh, you're still
And, like,
working on it.
this is so
Nice.
nice. I can work on my game. Ultimately, it turned into me playing Crying Sons, but I think I got a lot of work done this week, so I hope you're a little bit happy
This just seems so
this
much
week, bud.
I'm doing
Gosh.
I'm doing okay.
I can work on my game.
Well, I hope you're a little bit happy with the work because I might be able to finish this boss this week. I don't know.
Sounds like a productive week.
Oh, and I also went to
Oh gosh.
a studio,
Well, I hope you're a
This
little bit happy with the work that they make.
but that's not important.
I don't know.
And did you talk to your
and I
boss
also
about
went to,
the dyslexia issue?
Oh, I was talking to him about it, and I was like, can we just put more fucking signs up,
that's not important.
or at least paper signs on the posts? And they were
Okay.
like, yeah, we could do
And,
that. I
did
was
you
like,
talk to your
cool.
boss about,
And that, and
Appreciate
like,
that. I just don't.
and also it's like
I-
it just takes forever just
about
to
it.
get
I was like,
to know
put
everything because there's a
more
lot to do.
signs up, or at least paper
Because
signs on the
even in my
posts,
2
and they're like,
weeks,
yeah, we can
and I
do that.
like, I still trying to figure things out here and
yeah,
there.
like,
In the 2 weeks, I was like, well, I'm sure hope I'm doing better than, I'm sure hope I'm doing good. And they're like, oh, you're better than like 75% of people. I'm like, good, good.
I just don't want you. Like, I feel really bad because it's like we should have had a game out by now, and it's like I feel super terrible about that. But it's like
I'm like, good.
I really don't care. At the same point of time, it's like
just
I'm
want-
trying to do stuff.
I just want money, so I was just desperate.
And it's like,
Because
Yeah, well,
you
you did the right thing.
my current job or my last job over at Rona was just not cutting it anymore.
At the same point,
Mhm.
it's like I'm trying to do. I just want money.
At least this one you can afford
I feel
basic
that one.
things.
Yeah, for currently my current job or my
last
job
Yeah.
over at Rona was I can actually afford things now.
Josh is not gonna have to sell himself for sex to buy me a 3090.
Who says I'm gonna buy you anything? You whore.
Nice. That's a
Wow.
good upgrade, eh?
That's easy. It's called one day you're gonna be like expecting a paycheck. It's gonna be from Laserbird. Someone will be like, oh yeah, well I bought myself two 3090s. And you're gonna be like, well, why did you buy yourself two 3090s? Well, I figured you buy me one and I buy you one. That's how it works, right?
Expecting a paycheck. It's gonna be from Laserbird. Someone will be like, oh yeah.
You buy me one and I buy me one.
It's good because we won't need what is his name? Mr. Tones to sell himself to Kirby so I can get a 3090.
Mr. Tones to sell himself to
It's $2,000. It's $2,000.
so I can get a 3090.
Yeah.
Good luck, bro.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is it mostly the price, or is it the availability that's the problem for you right now,
So
Jeff?
yeah.
Yikes.
So we're gonna sync.
No, okay. Yeah, that'll do
We're
it.
gonna sync in 3, 2, 1, and then when I say
Yeah.
sync, we
Good
hold
luck.
it for about half a second, okay?
Yeah. So we're trying to give up.
Good luck.
Yeah.
We're gonna sync. We're gonna sync in.
No,
3,
not
2,
not no,
1,
not a
and
new
then
recording.
When I say sync, we hold it for about half a second. Okay.
Do you mean to start recording then? Like a
It's
new
okay.
one, or?
Just hit record again. It should be okay.
Okay. Okay, cool. It just picks up where I left off.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Sync.
So that's
So that's what we're supposed to do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again.
But we'll do it again so you know what to do.
Okay.
So sync in 3, 2, 1.